Welcome back to the Eric Krown crypto channel. Wishing you a happy new day start to this nice hump day. It's a nice little Wednesday over here from a bright and sunny Helsinki, Finland, and there's actually a lot to prepare for today as it is an FOMC minutes day, of which theoretically there really shouldn't be too much of a surprise. Just the minutes coming out, but marks typically do move, and we have an impetus for a major signal to be looking at right now that could very likely be resolved upon that good old news, if we will. Anyways, without further ado, let's just jump into it right now. My camera is slowly losing its battery, so I think it's time to get right into the analysis. So I wanted to start it off here once again on the main chart, the one chart to rule them all, the biggest chart right now. And there's something very compelling about this. The most compelling thing is that we have seen a full-on resetting of this signal since the last signal that we were given, which was about a 12% move to the upside, now fully reset for another major move. So with that in mind, what essentially are we looking at? We're looking at a volatility versus stochastic momentum chart. Volatility represented by this moving metric that my cursor is currently on right here, and that is actually the volatility of stochastic momentum, and then this is obviously the stochastic momentum oscillator. Anyways, anytime that we have seen volatility get extremely low, the expansion phase from those extreme lows has led to an average move of about 23.76%. So that number was updated, seeing as we got the next iteration over here. Average days taken to the next major high or low is about 8.64, and the stochastic momentum oscillator has gone the correct direction about 90% of the time in this case. And why is this relevant? Well, while we do have a bit of an economic event coming in later today, there is a major pivot right here. So on the next expansion phase, I would be looking at this pivot, I would be looking at this pivot once we actually get full-on confirmation of expansion, which we have not had just yet. When I'm talking about full-on confirmation of expansion, the volatility indicator itself needs to get a positive slope. So you can, see, for example, right here, first tick up, first tick up, first tick up, first tick up, and that correlates extremely well with the move starts alongside the direction of the stochastic momentum oscillator, which is pretty damn good, not perfect, pretty damn good, but not perfect at getting the actual direction. So in this case, if we do see volatility expansion coming into the next closure, and Bitcoin is above, well, obviously it's going to be one, it's either going to be above or below that pivot, that is going to be the side that I'm going to be a lot more biased towards looking for a major move to occur from. In this case, if we were to look for expansion from the exact level right here to the upside, that would, that would be around about 28 to 29,000 bucks essentially, also in line with the 786 Fibonacci retracement here. And we'll also go over validation conditions on straight up price action as well. And then to the downside, that would put Bitcoin, basically around 19 to 20,000 bucks if we do go for the average. Probably within if we're going off the statistics right here, within the next week to 2 weeks. Again, we can combine that chart with this chart, looking at volatility from a different angle, looking at it from the BBWP, and we see extreme lows right here, which we did not actually see extreme lows on the last iteration of expansion. By the way, I'm about to get hit on a trade over here, which I'm quite happy about. Okay, there we go. And so this one, when we back test it for the last couple years here, where we have seen extreme lows on daily BBWP for CME, the average move has been about 25.25%. So very close to what we see from a different angle over here. Completely different volatility indicators, completely different calculations, but similar moves. This one, the average day is about 14.5 or so. So, we already kind of know the maths on that one. If Bitcoin, chooses the upside, probably looking somewhere around 28 to 29. If Bitcoin chooses the downside, probably looking at 19 to 20 or so, which theoretically would not put Bitcoin on new lows, for what it's worth. Anyways, moving on now, I want to get into some more tangible price action for the short term. So where would I essentially, if I had to use, if I had to use price action, kind of govern, where these sort of scenarios get resolved, it's the same thing as the last few days or the last week or so, which is either a daily closure above about 24,600 or a tick below last Friday's low, which was 23,600. Bitcoin got quite close there yesterday, did not take it out, or a daily closure below about 23,800. All of those scenarios will work for a resolution, at least in the way that I look at things, and then I'd be looking for a major move to occur from there. You can also see that there is a silver cross in the brewing right here as well, but I do want to say one thing about the silver cross. Typically, the first silver cross, or any cross for that matter, that is attempted after a long ways away from being away from it, in this case, the last time that we saw it was over here, usually is a fake out, just for what it's worth. But until then, until we see an actual closure above or below one of those regions, or we see that volatility expansion play officially confirmed, I'm just waiting is what I'm doing. Anyways, going through my notes over here, what else do we have to be aware of? Well, All lower term timeframes underneath a daily are operating on extremely low BBWP. So this is the daily, obviously, right here. Here's your 12-hour all the way on the bottom, 6-hour, 4-hour, 3-hour is also going to be low as well if we can actually load it, and so on and so forth. You get the idea. What's interesting right here, and what I did not call out yesterday because it actually wasn't available yesterday, it would have been available this morning, is that Bitcoin does have potential hidden bullish evidence on the 12-hour brewing right here. You know, you could argue that the easy portion of that move's already played out because I don't trust this one. I quite literally don't trust this one. But when we combine that with stochastic momentum, just in the most base sense, we do see a nice pivot on the 12-hour stochastic momentum at 24,450. So that kind of represents, you know, the upper end of the medium-term timeframes right there. 6-hour also going to be showing upside pivot above 24.3, which Bitcoin currently is above right now by about $150 on CME. And then the 4-hour is rather interesting. So we drew out this trend line on the 4-hour stochastic coming in from, you know, the last few major lows going back to late July. So these lows correlate to this low right here, this one right here, this one right here, and well, so far this one right here as well, operating on that. So if you do believe in that, well, you know, at least it was a nice bouncy bounce region, but I don't see any resolution right now because the resolution of the short-term time frame, or sorry, because the resolution of the higher-term time frames, which implies a much greater move, is so close to where we're at today. I would personally hold back on using lower term timeframes as a guide for such things. But if we do start to, you know, see that lift off, and then Bitcoin, even on the 4-hour, starts to reclaim, let's say above 24,650, very likely going to at least test the upside again. At that point, you got to be thinking, okay, well, the daily close, you know, the daily has so many hours in the day, of course, to be exact, 13 hours, 59 minutes, and 4 seconds left to go. So, you know, probably do see an upside resolution if that were to happen. Again, I suspect that all of this is just complete preparation for the FOMC minutes later to come today. Just checking out my camera. Oh, it's still working. Okay, that's good. That's really, really good. Quite happy about that one. Anyways, looking at the time on this particular video, we are 7 minutes into it, and I don't think that there's really anything else left for me to say. I want to make this one nice and short and sweet. We'll very likely do an update later today because that's when the action is going to be happening. That's when we potentially could be seeing resolution and confirmation on these very, very important, at least in my opinion, important higher term time frame ideas that, you know, I've been patiently waiting for a while, and perhaps other people have as well. So I think that'll do it for right now. I think I should probably let you know that if I do updates, I'll probably do it on Instagram first, just easier to do it there, and then perhaps a shorts video later here on YouTube, if necessary, obviously. Of course, on Instagram, I got a whole lot of other trading sort of related content as well as other non-related content, which there is a link in the description below. And then Bybit is offering 50% off of their options fee if you use the link description below, and then you got your little BitGet tournament going on right here as well. So a lot of things happen around the market because it's boring as fuck, and so the exchange needs to pump people in and get some fucking money, right? But hey, times are tough, right? But you know, at the end of the day, I do think that a bit of caution here is kind of probably going to be rewarded in this case. I kind of stick with my overall idea that in general, we're looking at a bear market rally. But the thing is that, you know, everyone kind of thinks the same thing right now. And a true bear market rally needs to make everyone consider that it is not a bear market rally. It's the fucking point of it. And I also tweeted this out yesterday. Should I just bring it back? Yeah, I'll quickly bring it back because I thought that this was really, really interesting. And shout out to Mr. Gritters from the Discord. He's an amazing guy. He was the one who showed me this. And I just thought it was super interesting because when we do talk about bear market rally and you know, always going against the herd, right? It is interesting that if you actually use that for Google Trends search, you know, it seems quite popular right now. It seems quite popular. So there's definitely a consensus that this is a bear market rally within this market. But the question is, how high does it get first? And also, what would essentially reverse that as well? Like, what would flip it into a Bula market? Anyways, just some food for thought right there. Again, I'm going to be waiting on the tangible signals that we expressed right here. Hopefully, we get confirmation on especially this one, because this is the one that I'm the most looking forward to. And I think with that said, I want to wish you well. Take care, much love, and see you hopefully soon.